Rise and shine, my Magic Monday loves. Or should I say, roar and shine, as this week we enter Season of the Lion, Leo season. Hi, my name is Haley Comet, and welcome to Just Your Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday astrological forecast for the week of July 22nd to July 28th, 2024, where we are breaking down what is happening this week energetically, cosmically, astrologically, and how we do things a little different here in my cosmic corner of the internet here on Magic Monday, is that rather than just telling you your weekly horoscope and what to expect from the planets above us, here on Magic Monday, we really strive to take a co-creative approach so that you feel empowered to step into your week embodying and taking advantage of some of the more opportune energies aligning for you. Like this week, we've got Sun and Mercury entering their signs of domicile. We've got Sun sextile Mars, which is giving you a nice boost of assertion, of confidence, but also how you can mitigate some of the more challenging energies that are aligning celestially. Namely, this week we've got Sun opposite Pluto and Chiron Retrograde. So how you can be mindful of these cycles that we are moving through and feel empowered as a co-creator amidst it. And that's extra important when it comes to this week's astrology, to remember that you are a powerful co-creator within your own experience. You may have forgotten that because these past couple of weeks of astrology have been quite chaotic, quite disruptive, quite turbulent, and you may be feeling out of control of your own life. You may be feeling powerless over a situation. You may feel like something is out of your hands. Some of you may be feeling like you want to give up. But this week is your reminder around who it is that you are and the power that you carry. Even though there could be situations within your life that make you feel that you are being sucked into a black hole with no control over the situation, nothing to reach onto in order to get yourself out of it, I'm telling you, you have more agency than you realize. This black hole of Pluto energy that we'll talk about will not suck you up. Because it's important how we posture ourselves with the sun, which is the luminary of ego identity entering its home turf. It's important how it is that you see yourself and how it is that you identify yourself. Things have been hard lately astrologically, there is no doubt about that. But it is important to not see yourself as a victim of the circumstances currently. It's important to center yourself as the victor of your reality. That doesn't mean that everything goes our way. Pluto energy is change and transformation, much of which may feel to be out of our hands. But it's important within Leo Sun to find those ways to rise above the situation or to empower yourself amidst it. Because some of us are going to feel this week like our sunshine is being siphoned by a black hole. The black hole being the Leo Sun opposing Pluto. And this is going to differ for each and every person. For some of you, this black hole could just be a certain situation within your life that has been draining you. You've been obsessed with this particular arena. You feel like you are not getting your way within it. For some of you, this black hole is a person. There could be somebody within your orbit who is draining your energy, who's feeding off your life force, who is depleting you. And so you feel less sparkly and radiant after you spend time with this person. For others of you, this black hole is an addictive obsession, something that you know is not good for you, but you cannot help but to be magnetized towards. This week, it's important to safeguard your sunshine. It's important to be intentional, intentionally fuel with the Leo Sun, sextile Mars, and Gemini, intentionally fuel the things that are conducive for your joy. Intentionally fuel the things that add to your sparkle. Intentionally fuel the things that add to your confidence. Because the more that you are charging up your life force energy and your radiance and your illumination, the less susceptible you are to the sunshine siphoners of the world, whatever they may be. It's important to keep your vibe high. And that might be hard this week because we've had some intense astrology and some of us are dealing with some major life situations. But there's an ask this week to be intentional around fueling the actions that are in alignment with joy. Joy is not something that naturally unfolds, it's a decision, especially this week. And it's going to be important to take care of yourself in that way. Speaking of taking care of ourselves, we also have Chiron Retrograde this week. So some of us are really tilting the lens inward to really contemplate your healing journey thus far and whether it is truly in alignment with shining as brightly as you can be with the sun in its home turf. We also have Mercury entering the position of its exaltation. Mercury loves being in Virgo. I do have some caveats on this energy as Mercury retrograde does begin next week, but ultimately with Mercury in Virgo, you can expect and anticipate this week to have a very discerning eye. You could definitely find that you are really sussing out all of the data of what is adding to your sunshine, adding to your sparkle, and what is draining it from you. So of course, as always, we will go so much deeper into this energy thematically as well as day by day. But before we do, take a step inside my cosmic cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on below. I am drinking an Olipop cherry vanilla flavor. Once again, I was completely suckered in by the label. It just looked so cute. Allegedly, it's a healthy soda. Can a soda ever really be healthy? But it claims that there is prebiotics, plant fiber, and botanicals to support my microbiome and digestive health. And you know what? I'm ruled by Mercury. Mercury enters Virgo. Virgo governs the digestion. So perhaps it's aligned with what we're walking into. What's also aligned with what it is that we're walking into is not feeling like you have to do it alone. My loves, July's astrology has been a little wacky. It's been a little chaotic, and you are not alone. Again, I'll always be here every single Sunday with your forecast. There's always such a sweet celestial community within the comments to connect with other souls. But if you are looking for one-on-one guidance for the unique circumstances that you are walking into, I deeply recommend where it is that I get my own personal readings, which is Keen. So thank you so much, Keen, for sponsoring this week's Magic Monday. So if you are unfamiliar, Keen is an online psychic directory that links you to all sorts of talented advisors who utilize their psychic gifts in order to provide you clarity with whatever it is that you are walking through within your life. I always find it so interesting how challenging it is to see things when we're in the thick of it. Like, I've been moving through something that from my perspective feels like it's out of my hands. It feels out of my control. I'm in this cycle that I seem unable to break. And when I connected with one of my favorite advisors on Keen, she reminded me that from a spiritual perspective, I am choosing this cycle, that I can empower a new pathway, that I can empower a new timeline. In the midst of it, it feels really messy, it feels really crushing, and I don't always see my own power to get myself out of this situation, but that's why I love connecting with advisors who remind me that. Sometimes we just need some spiritual cheerleading, right? Of somebody who gets what it is that you are moving through, has honed their craft in order to support you. And speaking on the crafts, take a look at Keen, because there's all sorts of advisors who specialize in all sorts of different modalities to support your situation. You can also answer a brief questionnaire to figure out who would be the best match for you and what it is that you are looking for. So I deeply recommend. If July 2024 astrology has been a little intense, firstly, same. Secondly, I deeply recommend heading over to Keen to get a reading. If it is your first time, you've never been on the platform before, you can use my link, trykeen.com/Comet, to get your first 5-minute reading for just $1. So thank you so much, Keen, for sponsoring this week's Magic Monday. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Vibe Check of the Week. So if you are new to Magic Monday, Vibe Check of the Week is a segment that we do within our weekly horoscope, where we liken this week's astrology and every week's astrology to a real life scenario in order to familiarize you with the dominant themes, energetics, and emotions that you will experience when you go into your week. Of course, the specifics of the details will vary person to person, so feel free to swap in the elements that'll make it more relevant to what it is that you are walking through. But essentially, this is a metaphoric device. You can start to tap into what this astrology feels like if the specific nuances of Chiron retrograde and Mercury entering Virgo doesn't necessarily paint a picture around what you will experience. So within this week's vibe check, we will say that you have a strong, heartfelt desire. And I really want you, the Magic Monday viewer, to fill in what your most heartfelt desire is. What you want more than anything. And again, we're entering Leo season this week. Leo governs the heart space, right? And the heart wants what it wants. So drop into that space. What does your heart call for and long for the most? Within this week's vibe check, just to paint a picture, we will say that what it is that you desire the most is that you deeply, deeply want to build a following. You want to be an influencer. You want to be a content creator. That is what you long for. And though it started as a genuine passion, it has taken more and more precedence within your world. You've gotten a little bit obsessed with it, constantly looking at your analytics, seeing how it is that you can tweak things, wanting to create the content that will attract the audience that you are calling in, constantly looking at your followers, looking at your likes, and you are just noticing that it is just grabbing a hold of your psyche. You're checking your phone all of the time. Your heart sinks every time that you go down in followers. You get ecstatic every time you go up in followers, but it's short-lived, and then that hunger returns around wanting more. And you still feel like that success that your heart wants so badly still feels elusive. And it's making you even more obsessed, tweaking your content even more. Will people like it when I do this? Will people like when I do this? And it's injecting the content that you are creating, that when you are taking photos, again, something that you enjoy, you're doing so with gritted teeth, because there is this energy around wanting to be perfect in order to get that validation, that popularity that you are calling in. But it feels like the harder you try, the further it gets. Your following is going down and you are just at a loss, because so much of your world has been orbiting around this desire. And when it comes to you, the Magic Monday viewer, your desire may not be to be an influencer, but it could be to find your soulmate. It could be to conceive. It could be to get a certain problem resolved, like something that you want more than anything, and more of your energy is funneled towards it. And it feels like the more that you chase it, the further it's running from you. And it's siphoning and stealing your joy from the present moment. This week's vibe check is that awareness. So it's not being in the thick of the obsession, although we may feel that with Sun opposite Pluto, but it's the moment where you snap into awareness around, I have let this desire for popularity, for massive reach, for social media visibility to infiltrate every aspect of myself. I'm not able to go out with my friends and enjoy myself because I'm so concerned about how my content is performing. I'm not even allowing myself to approach what used to be a passion project in a creative, lighthearted way, because now it's all around the numbers and the particular goal that I want to reach. And it's just consuming my life. I'm stressed all of the time. I'm always on my phone. I'm not having fun. It feels like I am stuck within this loop that honestly is quite painful. It's painful not to get what it is that you want, especially if we decide that that means something about us. Because in this effort to try to be what the people want in order to be successful and to be popular online, your own confidence is taking a hit around, is there something wrong with me? Is it because I'm not this enough? Is it because I'm not that enough? And you're outsourcing some element of your own confidence to, if I have this many followers, then I'll feel good enough, popular enough, confident enough. And this week's astrology is that moment of turning the lens inward. We have Chiron stationing retrograde, which turns the lens of healing inward to really ask, what within me is so hungry for validation and for approval that I'm hinging it upon these external results? And how can I get back to the heart of why I wanted to do this in the first place? I wanted to share content. I wanted to take photos of what inspired me. And I've let this obsessive desire for what I want bleed into that passion and into that joy. And this week's vibe check is that moment when you realize this has been siphoning so much of my joy. I'm not having fun doing this any longer. So much of my world is revolving around this. I don't feel confident. I don't feel sparkly. Let me take action steps in order to get back to the heart of why I do what I do. And so this week's vibe check is not being in the thick of the obsession, but the moment when you realize how much this obsession is taking from you. This obsession in forcing your own will or getting what it is that you want. And again, allowing that to siphon the joy from the present moment around, it doesn't matter if I had fun taking the photos. If it doesn't get this metrics, then it's a wash. It doesn't matter if I had a great month with my husband, if we didn't conceive, then that was a waste of time. It doesn't matter if I'm healthy and I've had lots of great times with my friends. If this particular problem in my life is not resolved, then my life is a disaster. Like, again, the details are going to differ for all of us, but this week's vibe check is that moment around acknowledging just how much this obsession is taking from you and leaking your confidence, your sparkle with the Leo sun. And this decision to take matters into your own hands. And we see this with the Leo sun sextile Mars. And this journey of the Leo sun is interesting because, let's be real, with sun opposite Pluto, there is something at this moment that could feel out of your reach. There is something that is not going your way. There's something that you desire that feels far from you. And it's not about forcing our own will. It's not about locking into that Pluto tunnel vision mindset, so much so that you are digging your heels in and just being like, well, I'm going to do photos like this and then they'll like me and then they'll like me. It's not about forcing your own will onto the situation. Because one thing about Pluto's very humbling in that we really can't force things. And when it comes to the universe, we are operating on divine timing. So even if we want a particular outcome, there are bigger cycles that are playing out. We see that with the sun separating from its trine to Neptune last week. And with opposite to Pluto, it's like as much as we want something and our heart wants something, sometimes it's just not meant to be at the present moment. And the more that we obsess on it and hyperfixate on it, the more it steals our joy from the present moment. And the more that we give our power away. I think it's important to highlight that when we have an opposition within the cosmos, the two planets are the furthest from one another that they can possibly be. They're 180 degrees away from one another. And so when it comes to Sun, which again is in the center of our solar system, and Pluto, which is all the way on the outside, some may say it's a dwarf planet. In astrology, still a planet, but whenever I read like my nephew's books, the new generation, Pluto's out. But in the astrological world, Pluto's still in. But nevertheless, they're very far. And 180 degrees, they're the furthest that they can possibly be. And Sun is our life force, it's our ego, it's our confidence, and Pluto is power. So there feels to be something within our lives that you are allowing to leak your power from you, or you are hinging your power on it around, I will only feel powerful and in control of my own life until I have this thing. Until this problem resolves itself, until I conceive, until I blow up on social media. And the thing about when we hinge our own confidence, our own power to external sources, we will never feel truly empowered. And what's fascinating is the more that we chase something and obsess over it, the more that it runs away. Seriously. It's the weirdest thing. It's like we are allowing so much of our power to be funneled towards something that is leading to our unhappiness and not even allowing us to attract in the circumstance that our heart wants so bad. And this is a fixed sign showdown. So there could be a temptation where you just want to dig your heels in deeper and just be like, they're going to see. I'm going to take another photo shoot. I'm going to wear the clothes everybody else is wearing. I'm going to copy the hashtags from the other creators. I'm going to get this popularity that I seek, even though you're unhappy as you do it. We're in Leo season, and something about Leo and solar energy is that our job is to shine our own unique light. The right planets will be brought into your orbit if they are meant to. The sun does not chase and like go to all of the planets and say, Mercury, do you want to revolve around me? And Venus, do you want to revolve around me? Like, it does not. It just shines, and the right things that come into the sphere come in. And the brighter that you shine within your world as the star of your own solar system, the more you can attract things that are truly meant for you. So this is a season to really take a detail-oriented, discerning look. We have Mercury entering Virgo this week around what contributes to your sparkle. Because this energy, this chasing, this hustling on this popularity, it's not allowing you to show up as your brightest, most sparkly self, because you're trying to mold yourself into being what other people want you to be. You're allowing your fun times with your friends and with your family members to be siphoned by constantly checking your phone and allowing your mood to be influenced by the numbers that you see. And so it's not about giving up. It's not about saying, well, forget it. I'm going to give up on this heartfelt passion. But it's saying with Sun sextile Mars, what action steps can I take here? Like, firstly, how can I get back to making this fun again? How can I shift up my content where I enjoy it? Because you are the most magnetic when you are liking what it is that you do and how you do it and being who it is that you're meant to be. That's when you are the most magnetic to whatever your heart desires. is not when you are obsessing and fixating and trying to mold yourself, but when you're just doing your own thing. And with Sun sextile Mars, it's honoring, okay, not everything is in our control with Sun opposite Pluto, but there are more things in control than you think. And with Sun sextile Mars, it's taking the action steps necessary in order to ignite your sunshine, in order to add to your sparkle, and taking things into your own hands. And with Chiron Retrograde, really turning the lens inward. What within me was in need of this validation? Because oftentimes when something brings up an energy within us where it's so bigger than what the situation would warrant, oftentimes there is a deeper story there. Where when you sit down, you really think about it, you realize, I want this social media popularity so badly because I feel like finally I would feel part of something bigger than myself. I felt ostracized. I felt like an outcast my whole life. And I just feel like if I have followers, then I'll finally feel accepted. Like there could be something that's playing out within your heartfelt desire for you to sit in with Chiron Retrograde and really look inward around, what am I really seeking to fill here? What within me is in need of healing? Because if I am allowing metrics on a phone to dictate my own worthiness, my own shine, there's something going on here. And let me get to that, because if I don't get to that, my mind will just put this target on different things. It'll be, I'm either obsessed around trying to make this person my partner, I'm either obsessed trying to get this certain career goal, I'm obsessed with trying to grow my family in the timeline that I want. It will keep shifting if we do not address what we're really seeking to fill. So we will give some more nuance, some more detail to this week's vibe check as we take it into our day-by-day analysis. I just want to let you know I am based in California, so I do utilize PDT, Pacific Time Zone, within my forecast. Please adjust to your local time to ensure that you're making a mental note of the transits at the correct time that you will experience them wherever it is that you are located. I also have timestamps below if you like to listen to the day by day as the day by day unfolds. That is an option. Or if you want to go back and reflect, like, why was that day like that? Or if you want to skip ahead to see if a certain day is good for a certain meeting, what have you, that is available below. I do have a tendency to talk pretty fast. Please know that YouTube does have a playback speed option. You can access it by hitting the gear icon in order to speed me up, in order to slow me down, adjust my rate of speaking to your rate of processing. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into the astrology for Monday, July 22nd. So happy Monday. Welcome to your astrology forecast for Monday, July 22nd. And more importantly, welcome to Leo season, my friends. At 12:44 a.m. PDT, the sun enters its rulership of Leo, kicking off season of the Lion. So I just want to take this opportunity to wish a very happy birthday to all of the lions out there. I hope that you have the most wonderful birthday, celebrating you, your glow, your radiance. Thank you so much for being who it is that you are and embodying what it means to shine bright within your own authenticity. Thank you also for casting your sunshine on so many of us, injecting every situation with a little bit more fun, a little bit more play. We adore you for your loyalty. We adore you for your leadership. We adore you for your just sparkly nature. Thank you so much for being you. Please enjoy your birthday season. I know you guys will. I know you guys will. Let me know if you're a Leo, what do you have planned for your celebration? I feel like Leos do it big with their birthday parties. Okay, I feel like Leos do it big. So let me know if you are doing something special to celebrate and what that is, if you care to share. But for all of us, the sun is now in rulership. We have two planets shifting into territory that they're quite happy in. And when it comes to Leo sun, you can find that throughout this next season, there really is this desire to want to play, to want to have fun, to want to be who it is that you are, to want to express yourself, to want to create for the enjoyment of creating itself. And that's important because, as we know, every time a planet enters Leo right now, its opening aspect will be an opposition to Pluto, which is hovering at 0 degrees Aquarius. And Aquarius is the future, and Leo is the present moment, the divine now. And Leo is that sort of heart-centered creative expression around allowing yourself to just play and to create without hinging future potentials upon it. Because I feel like that's when the best creativity comes through, is when we allow it to just be a testament to the present moment, to just be what it is that we want to share, what it is that we want to shine out. When we put all these pressures and put all these expectations on it around, well, this song needs to blow up on TikTok, or this post needs to go viral on Instagram, or whatever it is, oftentimes that can siphon just the joy of creating, because now we're allowing all of these other thoughts around the people and their opinions and what it's going to do within the future to infiltrate it. I do feel like the most organic creativity happens just from a genuine expression within the moment. And so that's just something that you'll want to be conscious of. Even if you don't identify as a creator, allowing the future or what something's going to turn into, or whether or not something's going to work out, to siphon just the joy of being in the present moment, creating and playing. Allowing future possibilities or future potentials to leak out the joy that's in the present moment. That feels important to highlight just with the sun opposing Pluto on Monday evening as well. And so you should feel a little bit of lighter Leo energy come in as we navigate this season, but it has a pretty intense start with the opposition to Pluto. And you'll just have to be mindful of what within your life is siphoning your joy. For some of us, it could be future potentials. It could be this energy around no longer even enjoying creating content because you're putting all of these pressures around it needs to succeed, it needs to do this, it needs to do that. For some of us, it could be a certain desire, right? I want a resolution to this problem. I will not be happy until this problem gets resolved within my world, until I get what I want, until I conceive, until I get a partner, until I get this, until I get this. And allowing that to just siphon the joy of being alive right now. In this particular experience, there could be a temptation where it's like, my life won't start until this happens. This happens. And again, you are leaking your power out. And to demonstrate this, I just want you to think back to a certain memory, like a vacation or a fun day with your friends, where you were so worried about something during that entire experience. Like you were on a vacation, but while you were there, you were freaked out because of this particular problem, or because of this person didn't text you back, or these things that now, in retrospect, you're like, I don't even remember the name of that person who I was waiting to text me back. Or that problem was so inconsequential, it got solved like that when I got back. Why did I allow that to siphon those beautiful memories? And when we can remember circumstances in which we've done that in the past, allow that to empower you around whatever it is that you desire the most right now, or whatever problem you want to be solved, or whatever it is that's making you feel powerless with Sun opposite Pluto. It's important to, as much as you can, not allow it to siphon and steal the joy of the right now. Because in the future, you may look back at this point in time and be like, gosh, I wish they would have just enjoyed that particular experience. I wish you would have enjoyed that particular summer before your soulmate, was called in. I wish you would have enjoyed that summer before you conceived and just really enjoyed, being in your marriage. I wish you would have enjoyed the process of building the social media following rather than being so determined on the end result. Again, it's frustrating when something's out of our hands and when our heart is calling something in and so desire something. It can be frustrating when it feels like it's not within our reach, especially when we're putting a lot into it. But it's important to, wherever possible, to step back into the right now and to really safeguard your sparkle and to really do the things that bring you into that more joyful, magnetic state of being right now. You do not need the social media following to do that. You don't need the soulmate to do that. You don't need whatever it is that you are desiring the most to enjoy the present moment and to step into your power now and to do what makes you feel sparkly and radiant. Because I'll tell you something right now, when you hyperfixate on something, you are dimming your sparkle. Okay, you're dimming your sparkle because you are saying my sparkle, my confidence, who it is that I am as a person is contingent upon this. You are siphoning your sparkle to this external thing. And it's funny because a lot of you can probably attest to this, that the moment that you stop obsessing and chasing after something and you funnel that energy back into yourself, the more actually it is pulled towards you. And so there is an ask. It's not that you should give up on what it is that you desire, but there is an ask, is this not fun for me any longer? Like, is this taking away my enjoyment of the thing? Because we're here in life school to move towards things that do have meaning to us and to be of service. Like Sun sextile Mars is a reminder of that. It's not around giving up and just being like, well, I give up on this particular goal, but checking in with yourself. Is this diminishing my enjoyment of the process? If I am so hyperfixated on, is this person that I dated, are they my soulmate? Am I allowing that to siphon the fun of dating? If I'm so hyperfixated around, I need this particular following, am I allowing that to siphon the fun of building a social media following? If I'm so hyperfixated around, I need to conceive by this time so I can have a baby by this time, am I allowing that to siphon the joy of trying with my partner? Like, there is an ask to really check in, because it's not about not desiring things, it's not about not following your heart, but just observing where this obsession energy is making something that should be fun or should be a passion project or should be something that lights you up and turning into something, not very eloquently said, but not as fun. And what this week is truly asking us for overall is to be the detective of our own joy. To start to sneak around for clues, and Mercury entering detail-oriented Virgo will help with that, around really entering clues around what allows me to show up as my most magnetic, sparkly self, and what dims my sparkle. What dims my magnetism? What makes me feel less confident when I leave those particular situations, those particular scenarios, versus when I got there? Because some of us, our joy stealers are, again, our own expectations around the future, our own desires, our own forcing of will. For some of us, you might have a literal joy drainer within your world. There could be somebody that you are connected to who siphons your energy, who makes digs that makes you feel less confident of yourself after spending time with them. There could be certain bad habits alive within your world that you know are not allowing you to show up as your most confident, radiant self. There might be certain environments that you are around, certain power struggles alive within your world that drain you, ultimately, that drain you. And this week is around really observing what situations within my life are draining me versus which are amplifying my sunshine. And how can I take the actions with Sun sextile Mars a little later on this week to move in the direction of what amplifies my sunshine? And so when it comes to Monday, Sun opposes Pluto in the evening time. So you could just feel certain frustrations, things not unfolding as you want them to. And your confidence could be taking a hit in that. Around, I want this person, they don't want me, what's wrong with me? Or I want popularity, popularity has not found me, what's wrong with me? Why don't people like me? When we chase anything in life, whatever it is that we desire, to a certain degree, it can impact our confidence, especially if we're not doing it from a place around knowing our own essentially value and shine and glow. When we're looking for this particular thing to validate us, it diminishes our confidence. It's like the more that we chase something in order to feel enough, the more that we feel a lack, and then we get even more obsessive around, well, I need this in order to feel good about myself, in order to relieve this. And so you may feel that come to the surface on Monday. There could be frustrating circumstances. There could be power struggles alive currently. There could be an obsessive energy. You could be dealing with people who are very megalomaniac. Am I saying that right? Just people who have a really big ego and need you to validate them, or trying to manipulate dynamics in order to feel big and bad and like they're the center of the solar system, right? The sun does not need to do all that, right? The sun just shines. True leaders just shine. They don't need to manipulate. They don't need other people to validate them. They just shine. And so you might just be seeing that dynamic within other people. And to know that when you are a powerful person, when you are the sun, when you are the center of the solar system, you don't need to be doing all that. And so some people could be trying to play games, and it's just important with the Pluto energy, dig a little deeper around, why are you negging me? Or why are you lording your power over me? Like, what's really happening beneath the surface? It's not saying you need to fight against it, but sometimes just being aware of it and not feeding into those power plays and not feeding into those games is the best thing that you can do. And again, when it comes to Sun-Pluto interactions in the cosmos, and whoever within your world is reflecting that cosmic alignment, oftentimes they want you to feed into that game. That gives them attention, that gives them validation. when it comes to an energetic standpoint, there's no difference between good attention and bad attention. So people who try to get a rise out of you, if you allow them to get a rise out of you, you are giving them exactly what they want, which is attention, which a lot of times when it comes to these sort of individuals, they feed on that. They need that, and they'll do whatever it takes to get that. So sometimes just being neutral and just not giving the reaction that they're so desperate for is exactly what is appropriate when it comes to those sort of dynamics. So some of you may be feeling energies of that. And when it comes to Sun opposite Pluto, it's important not to force our will, because with Pluto energy, we will be humbled. There are some things in life that we cannot force, right? That we cannot force into existence using all of our willpower, using all of our oomph. Sometimes things just aren't meant to be. And sometimes with time, you realize that. So again, when you think about those happy memories where you're like, I was on vacation in a foreign country, worried about this person texting me back, which in the grand scheme of life, that person was not even part of my story. I know I wanted them so badly, but that's not how the cookie crumbled. And that's okay. I wouldn't even want that person now, but I allowed it to siphon my sunshine, my joy on that vacation. And again, we can want something, but we cannot force it. Sometimes things are just not meant to be. And that is okay. As much as we may want it to be and our heart longs for it and wants it so bad, sometimes that's just not how the cookie crumbles, and the universe might have something so much more aligned in store, and you wouldn't even have really wanted the thing if you got it in the way that you got it in the time that you wanted it. Sometimes you just need to honor if it's too much of a struggle, if it's not fun anymore. Sometimes that just needs to be your cue around, listen, I don't want to force this. Let me find a way to flow. Let me get back to my own joy. Let me get back to my own sparkle. And if it's meant to be, it'll come into alignment. I'm sick of chasing and hustling and hinging my own power on the situation. It's not meant to be sometimes, and that's okay. That can be so freeing to just allow what's meant to be to come into your experience and what's not meant to be to depart. My life got a lot simpler when I just started making decisions based on alignment. If something was not in alignment, if it was creating anxiety within me, if it was creating obsessive behavior within me, if it just wasn't feeling good, I just started taking it as a cue around, this is not meant to be. As much as I want this so much, it's not feeling right. It's not flowing, and I'm trying to flow. So I made a promise to myself. I said, I am only aligning with the vibrations of ease and flow. Again, it's not saying that everything in life is easy and seamless. We are happiest as human beings when we are in the pursuit of a heart-centered goal that we have chosen for ourselves. There's a difference between feeling challenged and feeling activated to move in a certain direction of a goal that we have chosen versus chasing and hustling and forcing something into alignment. And you'll feel it energetically. It feels good when you are moving towards something, a goal that you have set. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it feels good. At least it feels fun. Your heart's in it. Maybe you're passionate about it. There's a certain energy that you'll feel where there will be ease. There will be flow. It's not that it's easy, but there will be an energy of ease around maybe I'm needing to practice. Maybe I'm needing to study. You know, Mercury enters Virgo later this week. It's not that we aren't putting effort towards it, but it is this energy around, there's an ease around it. There's a flow around it. And you'll feel the difference. It's not so much of a forcing and an obsession. Listen, I'm an obsessive person. I'm not saying there's something wrong about being obsessive, but there is something wrong with an obsession if it's not contributing to your happiness or not adding to your life, if it's depleting you more than it's adding to you. And again, it could be so easy to make it a story, right? To be like, I want this so bad. There must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. No, my love, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe not right now, maybe not in this timing, not in the way that you want it. Align with the vibration of alignment and flow. Allow yourself to surrender to what the universe is aligning for you, rather than feeling like you have to force your own will. Because something about Pluto energy, when we're squaring up with Pluto energy, not fear-mongering at all, but Pluto typically wins, right? Pluto typically wins when it comes to Plutonian energy. And so there just could be an energy. It's not giving up, but it's just choosing, you know what? This is not aligning with the vibration that I want to operate my life at, which is the vibration of ease and flow. And thus, I'm going to redirect my energy to what is conducive for ease and flow. And so from a lunar perspective on Monday, the moon is in Aquarius all day long. And I do want to share, we are just a day out from that intense full moon, do let me know, how was that full moon for you? I'll go ahead and drop in the link to last week's Magic Monday if you want to get caught up on that. But we are still in full moon recovery mode, so absolutely do make sure to take care of yourself. With Sun opposite Pluto, there could just feel to be things that are out of your hands that are making you feel powerless. There could be transformations that are at play. And it's not that you are powerless, right? Like, you are a powerful person. Pluto energy can remind us that there are bigger transformations that are at play. We cannot leverage our power in order to get exactly what we want when we want it. We are not God. We are not God, although with Sun opposite Pluto, you might encounter some types on Monday where you're like, you have a God complex, like you are acting like you're God. Like, we can't play God, okay? We cannot play God. There are certain situations that are out of our hands. And rather than that being something depressing, allow that to be freeing around, okay, it's not my job to orchestrate everything within my world. Let me just flow with what feels right, with what makes me feel more sparkly, more confident, more myself, and creating distance from whatever within my life is not in alignment with that. Even if it's something that I want I want to be friends with these girls, but I just don't feel good about myself whenever I'm around them. Or I want this particular goal, but gosh, it's not feeling so good moving towards it any longer. Pay attention to that. Don't feel like that is your cue that you need to dig your heels in more and prove something in regards to your own confidence by getting your desire. Just take the cue and take your sparkle elsewhere is sort of the vibe. And while there can feel to be bigger cycles playing out and transformations alive, and you might be feeling powerless, trust that this too shall pass, and trust you will feel a little bit more powerful moving into later on in the week with Sun sextile Mars, around feeling more inspired, around wanting to take the actions that will better your life. Maybe we can't control everything, but we can control some things, and that's coming in later on this week. And so we're on the heels of that intense full moon, so allow yourself to process. A lot of people report that around full moons, they feel absolutely drained, so that may be the case. Some people have a hard time sleeping, and so you could feel energetically a little wacky. You can feel a little bit more emotional, like your reactions are a little bit dialed up. Let's keep it real. Leos, love you. Love you. But, you know, with Leo Sun opposite Pluto, we could be having some very dramatic, big responses, okay? Right now, you might be the one having the responses. Other people could be the one having the responses. The moon is in Aquarius all day long, trining Jupiter and opposing Venus very early in the morning. Remember, yesterday we had Venus sextile Jupiter, so that's separating the cosmos. And with the Aquarius moon talking to the two benefics, it just emphasizes that point that I was sharing, that joy is a data point to help you decide what to move towards or what is truly aligned for you and for your future with the energy of Aquarius moon. It's not to say that everything will be pleasurable. Like getting up at 5 a.m. to train for that half marathon, there'll be times that is not so pleasurable, right? Let's say you're wanting to conceive. The shifts that you have in your diet in order to be more fertile, that might not necessarily always be what would taste the best at that particular moment. It's not viewing it in a hedonistic way around always doing what's going to feel the best or taste the best at the particular moment, but to like an energetic level, what feels good? Like it will feel good to get up at 5 a.m., maybe not mile 1, maybe not mile 1. Mile 2, it'll feel good moving in the direction of a heart-centered pursuit that you have selected for yourself, that you have released expectations around. It doesn't matter if I finish, it doesn't matter if I get a certain place, I'm just doing this because I want to do it. And it feels good to be moving towards something that I want to do. That will be a guide. If you are dating, pay attention to how you feel while you are spending time with this person. If you're having fun, if there's an ease, if there's a flow to the connection, or if there's kind of a force. Also pay attention to when you are talking or dealing with certain people and all of a sudden you're feeling so much more self-conscious. That is also something to note, right? The best things in life flow. Furthermore, the things that are truly meant for you flow. And they feel good. Not always pleasurable, but there will be an energy where there is a sensation of it just feeling good, of it feeling right, I should say. And allow that to be a data point of what you want to put your energy towards is what makes me feel good? What makes me feel good about myself? What makes me feel good within this particular moment? What is conducive for the vibrations I want to feel? Again, the words that I am basing all my decisions around are ease and flow. Maybe yours differ. But if there are certain things where it's like, this is not conducive with what it is that I'm wanting to feel, leverage that as a data point. So with this energy, many of us will be asleep. It happens between the hours of like 1:30 a.m. to about like, I think 2:45 a.m. is when these energies happen. But if you do happen to be awake, make decisions based on what feels like it flows. Really work that muscle around checking in with yourself around what feels to be in alignment, what is flowing versus what is forcing. And just like making those decisions around choosing to eat in the morning intuitively, around, ooh, a smoothie bowl feels good, or ooh, I have a desire where I want to go for a walk before work. Following that muscle around what feels good, what feels to be in alignment could be helpful. We also have that evening, the Aquarius moon will sextile Chiron in Aries, which is a healing flow of energy. So yes, we have that intense Sun-Pluto showdown aligning in the cosmos that night, and you're going to feel this on Tuesday as well because it exacts very late on Monday night. So there's intensity. Sometimes we feel Pluto energy as anxiety. Like I said, there's certain things that feel out of control. There's certain situations that we feel powerless over. And with Aquarius moon sextile Chiron in Aries, there's like a whisper of energy that evening around doing something that makes you feel more soothed. Okay, potentially soothed about the future, you know, with the energy of Aquarius moon. Maybe it's connecting with certain friends. Maybe it's escaping into like a niche interest, like into a different world that allows you to have some soothing. Because with Pluto energy, sometimes we can hyperfixate and obsess and feel like we have to figure out our entire lives or feel like we have to figure out a strategy in order to get what it is that we want. And there's just like an invitation on Monday to do what soothes you within this present moment in time, to honor your role in taking care of your present, and trust that orchestrating every detail of your future is not your job. That's the universe's job. So when it comes to Monday evening, just do what makes you feel soothed within the now. And it doesn't exact until Tuesday, but we do have the Aquarius moon squaring off with Uranus that evening. And so you could have a hard time getting to sleep. Your mind could be restless. So again, do something soothing and calming in the evening time to help mitigate these Plutonian, Uranian energies. If you are having beef with anyone or conflict with anyone, this is not the time to approach it. With Sun opposite Pluto, there's some puffing up of our chests. There's some big egos at play. People might not be able to really hear you at this time. And I would just say with the energy of the moon squaring Uranus, you could feel all over the place. You could feel restless, even anxious sometimes. So just leverage that Aquarius moon sextile Chiron and do what is soothing. Don't feel like it's your job this evening to figure out your entire future. That's the universe's job. All you're going to do is stress yourself out. Allow yourself to soothe yourself. Allow yourself to calm yourself. Nurture the now. Nurture the now. So on Tuesday, July 23rd at 12:47 a.m., the Aquarius moon does square Uranus and Taurus. So there absolutely can be some restlessness brewing Monday night, Tuesday morning. We could feel unsettled. We can feel ill at ease. Again, some of us could feel that obsessive Sun opposite Pluto energy that is not making us feel good, right? Like we could be fearing the worst. Pluto could be a very paranoid energy. This could also be within the vibe check, staying up late, being like, am I a flop? Am I ever gonna get what it is that I want? And just hyperfixating and obsessing, and it's not feeling good. But even though you know it's not feeling good and you know it's obsessive, you can't stop. Like there's something alive early this week where you could feel like you are powerless over. It could be a situation, it could be a habit, it could be something that you are doing that you know is not conducive, you know is not helpful, but you can't help but allow yourself to be sucked into this black hole. And again, that could be a toxic kind of stream of thought, that could be a bad habit, that could be a destructive relationship, whatever that is, we could feel powerless over something. And it's so important to remember, later this week, we've got Sun sextile Mars. You are more powerful than you think. You may feel that you are stuck in a certain situation, but you do have the power to free yourself. For my tarot loves, I know that there's a few of you who have tarot channels or really into tarot, but what I'm seeing within my mind's eye is the Devil card within the Major Arcana. And this card, it has two people on it and the devil, super scary, and they feel trapped. Like it looks like they're trapped, but if you look closer at most renditions of the Devil card, they do have the ability to free themselves. And this card itself has to deal with essentially obsession, lust, greed, addictions and obsessions. And obviously breaking any sort of bad habit, any sort of obsession, any sort of addiction, even if it's just checking your stats on your phone or hitting your jewel or whatever it is, it's challenging, but it's important. And this card reminds us they do have the ability to free themselves. And you have the ability to free yourself. As much as you feel powerless over this situation, there is something that you could do to free yourself. It doesn't mean getting exactly what you want when you want it, but there is an acknowledgement around, I do have the power to free myself from something that is siphoning my life force energy. Maybe it's setting limits on how much I check my statistics. Maybe it's taking the steps necessary in order to detox from my vape. Maybe it's blocking this person who I cannot seem to say no to. You have more power in this situation than you realize, as much as you could feel utterly ensnared by something that you know is not bringing good energy into your life. And so that's still alive with Sun and Pluto separating. It did happen very late on Monday, so you could be feeling that within your experience. And with the fixed T-square that aligns very early on Tuesday morning, there could just be this energy around feeling very unsettled, feeling torn in different directions. There's unexpected developments happening currently, right? If you had it your way, you had a very particular fixed vision of the future. Like you were meant to blow up on social media at this time, already have this amount of brand deals. Like that was your vision. And that disruption, that deviation to your plan could be making you feel very unsettled, very anxious. It's important to note that over the weekend, we had Mercury square Uranus, and now the Aquarius moon kicks up that separating square, which will repeat because we are currently in Mercury pre-retrograde shadow phase, which essentially means that where Mercury is now, it will revisit. So the story is still being written, the future is still being written. Possibilities are still unfolding. So don't feel like it's your job to figure it all out now. I would just say when it comes to what epiphanies or what mental loops are coming to the surface, it might be helpful to write it down because this could be part of your Mercury retrograde story. And with the energy of Uranus, we cannot anticipate every element of the future as much as we want to. And there is an ask to surrender, to not see change as something to fight against, to not see a deviation of our plan as something bad, right? And so really when it comes to just navigating early Tuesday, I would just say there can be an energy of feeling quite stubborn. If you have certain conversations with people, there could be some stubbornness there. Some people could, with the square to Uranus, be resisting you trying to control them. Again, a lot of power struggles are alive here. So if you're feeling controlled, there could be an energy where you're more inclined to want to advocate. Like I said, no one's being heard. No one's being heard. There's a lot of ego energy alive currently, so it's really hard to see outside of ourselves in order to get our point across, but feels like people are trying. And there just could be this clash between the heart and the head around what your emotions want versus what makes sense. And again, the more that you can do just on Monday night and early Tuesday to just soothe yourself, just calm down, just feels a little anxious, feels a little stressy, and it feels like you're trying to anticipate the future or plan for every possible scenario, which we can't do. Just being asked to surrender and let it flow. The moon is void, closing aspect the opposition to Mercury and Leo at 2:58 a.m. until the moon enters Pisces at 6:23 a.m. So now we've got a Leo sun, a Pisces moon. We're feeling all the feels. And on Tuesday morning, with the Pisces moon squaring Mars, the feels that we could be feeling are feelings of annoyance. Feelings of having to come up against certain abrasive situations, abrasive personalities, things that are just not the vibe. Like with the moon in Pisces, we're wanting to flow. With the sun in Leo, we're wanting to play. And with the square to Mars in Gemini, there might be certain situations that you're having to give your energy to that you're like, do I have to? Like, I'm just not in the mood. You could be feeling more drained, right? You could be feeling not as motivated. Some of you could be feeling more angry, more frustrated by situations within your world. And there's energy on Tuesday, like I said, aligning with the vibration of your choosing. Mine personally at this time is ease and flow. And aligning with ease and flow. I'm making decisions around what is more conducive for ease and flow within my world. Though that's the goal, sometimes we do have to deal with life annoyances, right? The Pisces moon wants to vibe and flow and chill, but maybe our energy is needed to drop the kids off at school, right? Or we're having to go to this meeting or having to handle this particular responsibility. It's not to say that this life is without its hurdles and its challenges and its responsibilities, but ease and flow is the aim. And so notice on Tuesday where it is that you are efforting. Like, let's say if you are trying to force a particular aim. Again, this can show up in big things within our life around having a certain goal and trying to force it into alignment now, or even in micro things around, I am going to do this proposal today. I time blocked it today. I need to get it done. But you're trying and you're just not able to focus and your energy just feels scattered. Like sometimes if you feel like you are swimming upstream, that could be an invitation to check in with yourself and be like, okay, where's my energy pulling me? Because sometimes when you're trying to force something that's not flowing, it could be maybe your inspiration is trying to take you in a different direction. So if you do have some space within your schedule, maybe ask for what your heart is calling in. Like sometimes we could be forcing the presentation and it's just not working. We can't think of the words, but there's other tasks that feel a little bit more aligned where it's like, this presentation isn't working, but I am feeling somewhat inspired to handle this particular project. See where it is that you can shift gears, because I do see frustration energy on Tuesday where things could feel like they're not going your way. Someone could be hurting your feelings. There could be an abrasive personality or somebody who's steamrolling you or your ideas or something of that nature that could be hurting your feelings. There's going to be annoyances in life, but there's like an invitation on Tuesday. If you feel like you are efforting, if you feel like you are swimming upstream, check in with yourself around what would be in alignment with ease and flow. Maybe it's taking a break, maybe it's going for a walk if you're forcing something, maybe it's shifting gears to a different project. Try not to get frustrated with yourself. And yet again, Magic Monday is fully exemplifying this exact energy, because you may notice if you are very detail oriented, talking to you, Virgo placements, but you may notice that the flowers are significantly more dead. You may notice that there's like small shifts in regards to my makeup and my hair, I'm sure. This is a new day from when I started this video. I had started recording this and it was just not flowing. I could not talk. The words were not coming to me. And I was forcing it. I was like, no, Haley, this is your time to film. You're gonna sit in this chair in the cosmic corner until Magic Monday is done. And I wasted so much time just trying to talk. Nothing was flowing correctly. I just felt so aggravated and so frustrated. And then finally I was like, okay, Spirit, got it. Okay, this is just not the time. And today, when it comes to flowing, I'm experiencing so much more ease. Sometimes we make things harder by forcing it needs to be this way. This is the day that I need to film. Obviously, it's helpful to have a plan. Okay, we've got Mercury entering Virgo. Helpful to have a plan. But sometimes the vibe just isn't vibing. The vibe just isn't vibing. And sometimes you just got to shift gears. All right, this is how I wanted my day to go, but the vibe's off. The vibe is off. I wish the vibe is off was a valid excuse, like a work excuse that we could put in. Because as a Pisces, like just sometimes the vibe is off. I'm just like, I don't know why it's off, but it's off. And so on Tuesday, you could feel like the vibe is off. And while sometimes just the vibe's off, right? See where it is that you can work with it. Do you need a break? Do you need to do a different task? Do you need to do something in order to bring yourself back into a more positive, emotional, energetic? Just some food for thought. On Wednesday, July 24th, the moon is in Pisces all day long, so those sensitive, dreamy energies will continue on Wednesday. The moon squares off with the traditional ruler, Jupiter in Gemini at 3:47 a.m. So it does feel like there is a decision that you are making. I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to be grateful today. I'm choosing to have a good day. Because a lot of times it is a decision that we make. It is a decision around I'm going to choose to be grateful today. There are things that are out of control within my life. There are things that are chaotic within my life. Listen, there is a lot that is not perfect, but I am choosing to navigate it as gracefully and as gratefully as possible. It's choosing to show up in a high vibe way is what it feels like with the moon square Jupiter. Of course, this energy can make us more prone to excess, whether we are over idealizing, right? Just like staying in bed, just like fantasizing about what we want. We could be overindulging, right? Stopping by the donut shop on the way to work, getting sick, overindulging in caffeine. Listen, Jupiter expands what it touches. So we definitely could have some indulgences and some excess as part of our day, but there does feel to be this decision around I'm going to choose to feel good today. And so maybe on Wednesday, you're doing the activities necessary in the morning that are helpful for that particular vibration. Like, you know, if you wake up and the first thing that you do is you check your stats, it's not showing you a number that you want, and you allow it to infect your entire day, that's not starting on your best foot forward. And I've heard, and editing Haley will have to validate this for me, but I have heard that the first thing that gives you dopamine in the morning will be what you look for all day. So if you look for your phone and like a dopamine hit around, oh, my crush texted me last night, or oh, I got this particular stat that I wanted, you will be checking your phone all day looking for another text from your crush or looking for another boost within your stats. But also, if the first thing that you look at is your stats showing you something that you don't want, you're also going to be obsessively checking your phone, hoping that that will shift. And listen, I'm not somebody who's saying that you need to run 7 miles and take a cold shower and drink green juice and do gratitude journal. Like, some of these morning routines, I'm like, are people really doing all that? Like, are people really doing all that? Because I don't know anyone in real life who's doing all that before work at like 8 a.m., but maybe that's you, go off. But I'm not saying you have to do all that, but it is doing a decision in the morning time that allows you to start the day on a positive note. Maybe that's a gratitude journal. Maybe that's reading something inspiring. Maybe that's meditating. Just something that allows you to step into, there's certain things that are out of my control, but today I'm choosing to feel good. That is in my control, right? Is choosing to feel good. Make that decision on Wednesday because it's going to help, because midday, the Pisces moon does align with Saturn, which could be something sombering, something that feels hard, certain responsibilities. Hopefully, higher vibration of this energy would just be allowing yourself to get in flow state on working on something or showing up for your responsibilities. That could be a positive usage of this energy. And with Pisces moon on Saturn, you could also feel a little bit crushed by your reality. Your dreams could feel crushed by your reality, right? I feel like that is something that Saturn in Pisces is exemplifying to all of us, is the boundaries around our dreams, where when you dream of something, it's free, it's boundless. When you make it happen within reality, there will be times that even your dream job feels like work. There will be times that your dream relationship, there will be times that you guys go through challenges. When something just exists in the dream state, there's not any of those Saturnian energies. When we get something that we want, it will take Saturn energy every so often. Not everything is going to be easy. There's a difference between having a sensation of ease around conquering the challenges that are alive within this manifestation versus something that's easy and perfect all of the time. That's not real life. Maybe our dreams are like that, but that's not real life. And I feel like with the energy of moon on Saturn, there's like a sobering realization of the boundaries of having a dream manifest within our world around. You may have really wanted to be an influencer, and maybe you were not aware of how much discipline it takes to consistently show up and to post. Maybe you didn't realize how crushing that would be for your soul every so often, putting yourself out there and having the results be slow to take form. Whenever we are working towards something, there will be hurdles, there will be challenges when it comes to making our dreams real, but it's worth it. It's worth it to show up for those challenges. And again, with the Pisces moon squaring Jupiter, to do what helps you frame those challenges in a helpful way, to feel good in the midst of them, or to feel grateful for this opportunity that you have to make a dream real. So while there can be certain sobering reality checks midday around, maybe something that I visualized, now that it's here in real life, it's not giving the same luster and glamour it was within my dream world, right? There could even just be a certain energy around, I so want to be an artist, but I have to work. Like, there could just be certain conflicts between how luscious and amazing something within your dream world is versus the bounds of real life, which is not always glamorous, which is not always easy. And so with the energy of Pisces moon on Saturn, it is a good day to work towards something. It is a good day to take one of those dreams and make it happen here within reality. It is a great time to flow with inspiration, right? And taking that inspiration and carving it into something real with the energy of Saturn, taking visions and turning it into structure, turning it into substance, can be a positive way to leverage Wednesday. So on Thursday, July 25th, At 3:42 p.m., Mercury, the planet of the mind, of communication, of our thought processes, will enter its home turf and the sign of its exaltation, Virgo. So Mercury is super Mercury now, and you can experience a lot more mental aptitude, acuity, and detail orientation, because that is what Virgo does. It breaks things down to the pieces in order to make sense of it. The other side of the Mercury coin is Gemini, right? Which brings things together, which links concepts and ideas, which takes all of the data in order to bring it together. Virgo wants to pull it apart. It wants to dissect it. It wants to analyze it. And so in terms of how it is that you're viewing your life, you could start to zero in on all sorts of details of things that you want to improve. And this is the challenging part about Virgo energy, is how you can leverage this detail-oriented eye in order to improve without letting perfectionism drive you crazy. Because you can notice from Thursday onward, you are all of a sudden looking at things like, oh my gosh, how did I let things get so cluttered? Or you could be looking at your diet and being like, when's the last time I had a leafy green? I've been existing on Slurpees all summer long. Or even your own habits. Virgo is about zeroing in on details to find ways to improve. And you can leverage this energy in order to improve things, your habits, your routines, your work projects, things of that nature. You can use this detail-oriented eye to your advantage. But it can make us quite critical at times. And so it's really important to center what you're observing around what within your life that you want to improve, or what with your life you want to fix, or what within your relationships you want to fix. It's important to frame it accordingly around not chasing this idea of perfection, because it does not exist. That's where Virgo energy can get so neurotic, looking for perfection in an imperfect world, and really centering this energy around wanting to improve or make more efficient or optimize through this lens around wanting to be the best that you can, not comparing yourself to this idea of perfection and not feeling like as soon as I fix all these things, then I'll be worthy. It's really centering whatever it is that your mind is zeroing in on that you want to improve or fix, seeing yourself as so worthy that you deserve to have habits that make you feel good. You deserve to eat a leafy green every so often. You deserve to get the clutter out of your home. And it's important because with Mercury and Virgo, we could perceive people as being a little bit more nitpicky, a little bit more critical. And this might be a helpful paradigm shift so that you don't take it personally. When it comes to Mercury in Virgo, really see the feedback that people are giving as an act of service. And I know it could be so frustrating. It's like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to live, right? But with Mercury in Virgo, maybe there is constructive criticism that is being offered. When it comes to the Virgo perspective of the world, and this is going to be infuriating, I can already smell the comments, okay? But when it comes to the Virgo perspective of the world, a lot of times Virgo placements do share their appreciation through spotlighting, hey, have you tried this? Or, hey, I noticed this. Because to them, they see the details of where you could be improving to be your best self, and they share that through an act of care or through an act of service. But a lot of times it's received around, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me how to live, why are you being so nitpicky and critical and know-it-all on me? So just be mindful that that could come up while Mercury is in Virgo. Mercury is also in its pre-retrograde shadow, as I highlighted. So Mercury will station retrograde in Virgo. It will also revisit Leo. And Mercury retrograde, it's not that we need to pause life, okay? While Mercury is retrograde, it is an optimal time to review, to rework, to recalibrate. So knowing that Mercury is moving through territory that it will revisit, it might be a nice time to look back at some past projects that you want to fine tune, that you want to sharpen into perfection, even though it doesn't exist. Because that's what Mercury retrograde is perfect for. Again, now we have this zeroed in eye of Mercury and Virgo. So you might look back at an old project and be like, oh my gosh, there's so many typos. Or you might look at a landing page and be like, oh, this is so cluttered, I've got to fix this. It's a really optimal time to nourish past initiatives that are already in motion in order to fine tune, in order to optimize. We do not need to pause life. And especially we don't need to pause life because also on Thursday, the Leo sun will sextile Mars and Gemini at 7:32 p.m. So again, earlier in the week, we could have felt defeated That was the energy of the vibe check around, I'm putting so much energy into this and I still don't have the followers that I want. Or this problem within my world has taken so much of my energy and it's still not being solved. It just feels like the more we want this thing and the more that we're chasing it, the more it's resisting us and it's making us feel powerless. It's even making us feel not as confident, right? With it being Sun opposite Pluto. But as we get closer and closer to Sun sextile Mars, there's like a whisper of something that can help us build some positive momentum. With Sun sextile Mars, this is the energy around taking the action steps necessary in order to make this fun again. Because it's not about not wanting things. It's not about not desiring things. The heart wants what it wants, right? But with Sun sextile Mars and Gemini, it's almost this energy around how can I make this fun? Right? I'm not having fun anymore. Taking these photos, trying to get this popularity. If I'm going to do this, how can I make it fun? How can I make it enjoyable? How can I detach from expectation around what this content needs to do or who needs to like it in order to allow myself to really just play within the present moment? Leo, Sun, Mars, and Gemini. How can I make the current challenges and hurdles within my life fun? Or at least with Mars and Gemini, what am I learning from the current challenges and hurdles within my world? Because that can also make it fun. Like allowing yourself to be an eternal student around, no one's expecting me to be the biggest influencer ever. How can I look at the stats and rather than feeling bad about myself, just be like, ooh, okay, that did better and I really like doing that. It's making it a game. It's making what it is that you are working towards or what it is a desire, making it a game, making it fun, trying to inject some lighthearted energy into it, or at least getting back to the passion of why it is that you want what it is that you want. And let's say what you want feels so far that you just need to like shift your energy. You're like, okay, listen, this has been absorbing so much of my time and energy. My entire mood has just been orbiting around this particular arena of my life. It's making me feel powerless. Let me call back my energy and put it into things that make me feel more powerful, things that heighten my sunshine. If there has been an energy drainer within your world or something that's just siphoning your sparkle, Leo, Sun, sextile Mars, and Gemini is taking the steps necessary in order to get back to feeling good. Because when you are high vibrational, when you like who you are and you like what you do and you like what you do it, things flow with a lot more ease. Doesn't mean that they're easy. Again, with Mars, sometimes we like to chase, right? We like to work towards something a little bit. And it flows with a lot more ease when we are feeling good about ourselves, right? When we're feeling confident. And that can mean disconnecting from things that siphon your sunshine, like putting some distance between the friendships or the environments that drain you, where you feel less sparkly, where you feel less sure of yourself after being in these environments. And with Sun sextile Mars and Mercury entering Virgo, it's using that detail-oriented eye around what gives me energy. What charges up my radiance? Because when you take care of your life force energy, things flow. It's taking your happiness, your joy, your sparkle into your own hands and intentionally putting energy towards what will be conducive towards your joy, your sparkle, your lightness. Because, you know, a couple weeks back, we had the Venus in Leo opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, and that was a really challenging week for me. And every part of me just wanted to continue to stay in bed and just feel sorry for myself and just obsess and hyperfixate and self-isolate and continue to feel this thing that was making me unhappy. But it was like, I just felt like I was being pulled in. It just felt like a black hole. I just felt like I couldn't get out of it. And I had to make that decision around making plans, like deciding to do something that would put me in alignment with joy. That was the last thing I was feeling was joyful. But I was like, listen, this is not working. So I made plans with my dear friend and I. We got donuts and coffee on the beach. We went roller skating. We ended up, she's a Sagittarius, so I never know where the day is gonna go with her. We ended up going to an arcade, bought credits, and we played all of these different arcade games. And we were so proud of the prizes that we won. It was so dumb. It was like a plastic dinosaur, but I don't care. My inner child was happy. And yes, I was not in the mood to go do something joyful and lighthearted, but I had to make that decision around, I've got to choose to find joy within my days. I've got to choose to promote my sunshine. Again, part of it is safeguarding your sunshine, observing what are the energy drainers, what am I leaking my power out towards, and then Sun sextile Mars, what amplifies my sunshine? Like Nai is somebody who amplifies my sunshine. She's a friend who just really activates this very lighthearted, fun energy from me. It's important to stick close to those people who feel like sunshine in human form, or those activities. Maybe for you, it's making the decision around, oh, after work, all I want to do is lie in bed and feel sorry for myself because this and this and this is happening. But it's making that decision around, I'm going to go for a bike ride. I'm gonna go get some ice cream. I'm gonna do something that either my inner child would have fun doing or something that's in alignment with joy. It does not just happen. It's not something you stumble upon. It's something that you decide. You are the architect of your own happiness. And Pluto energy can get kind of morbid and existential and dark sometimes. And sometimes it can leave us with questions around, what is my purpose? What's the point of it all? And when we ask, what's my purpose? What's the point of it all? It's also indicating that it's something outside of you. But purpose is something that you create. It's something that you find. It's something that you decide to find within your day-to-day. You decide to take actions that are in alignment with joy. You decide to find purpose within your experience. It is not something that you happen upon. And there's part of this week's astrology and just life altogether that asks us to really honor the power that we have to find the purpose, to find the joy, to find the hope. Oh, and so on Thursday, from a lunar perspective, we start the day with the Pisces moon aligning with Neptune. This exacts at 7:31 a.m. So you could have had interesting dreams last night. You could just feel a little floaty. You could feel more in the ethers, right? More dialed in with intuition. The moon is temporarily void until it enters Aries at 7:52 a.m., making all sorts of empowering aspects. So earlier in the week, you might feel defeated, okay, but I do feel like we are feeling ourselves as the week continues and really taking responsibility over our own happiness, over our own purpose, or whatever it is that you're looking out in the world to find. That maybe with Sun opposite Pluto, you're just applying it to this thing around, I'll feel happy once I have followers. I'll feel like my life has purpose once I have followers. Again, it's an inside job. And with Aries moon, it's taking responsibility around, how can I take responsibility for that now? How can I take actions to move towards that now? We see that with the Aries moon sextiling Pluto around 9 a.m., then trining the Leo sun and sextiling Mars in Gemini around 1 p.m. So there is this energy around being game. That's the best way I could say it. Being game for the current challenges and obstacles that our life is presenting us. Being game. And being open to what you will learn on that pursuit with Mars and Gemini there, being open to even just that energy of conquest. Like, we truly do not want things that come easily to us. Like, we are happiest as human beings when we are in the pursuit of a heart-centered goal that we have set for ourselves. We tend to think, oh, I'd just be happy being on the beach with a margarita in hand. We report our highest levels of fulfillment when we are in the pursuit of working towards a goal that you have selected. So again, sometimes we take the fun out of the pursuit when we make it all about the end result, because that end result happiness lasts for a millisecond. Our highest fulfillment is in the process. So it's not about resisting challenge within your world, and it's not about resisting conflict within your world. That is part of life. But it is about being intentional with where you are directing your energy and ensuring that the ways that you are challenging yourself, the conflicts that you are experiencing within your world, are ultimately conducive for what you want to experience, to what you want to build, to what makes you happy, what makes your heart happy ultimately. On Friday, July 26th, at 6:59 a.m. PDT, Chiron, the Comet of the Wounded Healer, will station retrograde in the sign Aries, and here's what you need to know. Whenever a planet, or in this case a comet, stations retrograde, it does flip the perspective to being a little bit more externally focused to being more internally focused. And with Chiron representing our healing journey, there is an ask to look within. Hence why within the vibe check, it was really looking at what void am I seeking to fill within this external source? Because that's when we get the most obsessive about something, is because we perceive a lack within ourselves that our mind has decided this will be the thing. Which is why oftentimes when you do get the thing, now all of a sudden there's this other problem that you want to solve, or this other thing that you want to get, because you're just assigning, oh, this will make me feel happy, this will make me feel whole, this will make me feel enough. And with Chiron retrograde, it's firstly acknowledging I am enough just within myself, and potentially looking inward around, where am I tethering my own healing to this external source? And can I take personal accountability or personal responsibility for it here? Soothing what I'm really trying to get at when I'm trying to get these followers, or when I'm trying to get this relationship, or when I'm trying to get this goal. What am I really seeking to fill within myself? Because that is when we get the most obsessive. Because to us,
When we have decided this is what's going to fix me, this is what's going to fix it, obviously we're going to be so obsessive and so fixed and so single-minded about this particular aim, because this is how we're going to feel whole. This is how we're going to feel integrated. This is how we're going to feel enough. And it's not. It never will be, regardless of what you assign it to. It's all within. The power is within. And there's a strong temptation this week to want to look outside of ourselves for what can only be remedied within. And sometimes it's helpful to dig deeper, to ask yourself, what am I seeking to fill? Because we can get obsessive about things that are inconsequential, and we make it such a bigger thing because it represents something bigger to us. If this person who does not want to be with us represents in some way a caretaker who abandoned us, we will get obsessive because we are making this person part of this whole bigger story around how we feel abandoned. And if we can only be validated in this person's eyes, then we'll finally feel like that wounded part of ourselves will be healed. In rationality, you know, this is just a person. Like, I will be okay, but it can feel like life or death because this wounded part of you has assigned this bigger story. And maybe that's what's coming alive when it comes to this aim for following. Around this energy, around feeling rejected, around your following taking time to develop, it's bringing up how you felt ostracized within middle school, how you felt ostracized within high school, and now it represents something so much bigger. And it's important to look inward around what within us is wounded here. Again, it's human nature to desire. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want things, but if you notice you get unnecessarily obsessive about something, there might be something deeper to plug into. If you notice that it feels life or death around this thing and it's creating a lot of anxiety and stress within your world, there could be something else that is asking to be filled and to be healed, honestly, with Chiron Retrograde. And with this energy, it can just be a look inward around where it is that you are aligning with the vibration of wellness in every way. Wellness of body, wellness of mind, wellness of spirit. And being very conscious around detaching yourself from things, entities, relationships, places, habits that are not conducive with that alignment of well-being. You can love something and it still be bad for you. And with Chiron Retrograde, there's this invitation to really take accountability around our own healing and knowing that we cannot heal where it is that we got sick. We cannot create a safe space with someone who is continually hurting us. And so with Chiron Retrograde, there can be an invitation inward around what shifts do I need to make in order to be able to heal more effectively? Are there certain rituals, habits that I need to dedicate myself towards in order to really show up for my own healing journey, to take accountability of it? Because when it comes to Chiron energy, whatever has transpired that has made us feel wounded, not good enough, it's not your fault. But with Chiron Retrograde, it's this invitation around how it is that I show up for myself is my responsibility. And it could take the lens inward in contemplating that. And there is a Chiron tinge within Friday. We do feel planets strongly when they are shifting directions. Again, from our vantage point here on Earth, Chiron is not literally moving backwards, nor does any planet literally move backwards. It just appears that it is from our vantage point here on Earth. But when a planet is switching directions, we feel it strongly. So there could be energies on Friday around feeling a little triggered, okay? And it's really important to take matters into your own hands. And I don't say that around lash out and allow instinct to rule you. But what I mean is that if a trigger comes up, seeing where it is that you can proceed forward in a more helpful way, in a way that's more conducive for what it is that you want to experience. I don't remember where I heard this tip, but someone was sharing how when you have like a negative thought within your brain, say stop, count backwards from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shift in a different direction. Because with Chiron Retrograde, there could be an invitation inward around. It could be easy to go down this path of validating that I'm not good enough and I'll never be good enough until I get this particular goal. Stop, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It feels good to be building towards a heart-centered goal. And Chiron Retrograde, in addition to Sun sextile Mars, which is now separating in the cosmos, could be this invitation around, yes, triggers can surface, but there can be an opportunity around taking agency, how it is that you move forward. And outside of the Chiron signature, so we have Chiron stationing retrograde, we have Moon aligning with Chiron that evening. So you could feel triggered, you could feel sensitivities, vulnerabilities picked at, but it is a more optimistic day. The Aries moon will sextile Jupiter in Gemini at 6:16 a.m. The Aries moon will trine Venus in Leo around 3 p.m. So there's just an energy where the Friday is Fridaying. Things might not be easy. There could be triggers. There could be sensitivities that are plucked at. But there is this energy around being open for the challenges, open to what we're learning in the challenges with the Aries moon sextile Jupiter, and finding time and space to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, to reward ourselves if we do reach a certain goal of some sort, to find time and space within our workday to connect, right? To hype other people up, to allow yourself to be hyped up. That evening at 11:22 p.m. is when Moon and Chiron align, so you could feel a little triggered. And it could be tempting with Aries moon to want to react or lash out right away. Again, your responses are your responsibility. And there is an energy when it comes to this weekend around allowing that sore spot to be activated, but choosing to respond in a new way, potentially, or choosing to frame it in a new way. On Saturday, July 27th, so we do have a last quarter moon in Taurus on Saturday, and this, in addition to the Taurus moon squaring off with Pluto, there could be some spiky energies on Saturday. Let's just say that. Things could feel a little challenging, things can feel a little tough, especially if we had a particular idea how we wanted our life to unfold, how we wanted our weekend to unfold. It just feels like there could be clashes. There could be clashes of big personalities. There could be clashes around what we wanted and what actually unfolded. There could be clashes between our will and somebody else. There could just be an energy around butting heads, because that's one thing about navigating a fixed sign season and having all of this fixed energy in the cosmos is that we are more stubborn. We want our way. We want the followers now. And there can be an energy where sometimes we want to dig our heels even deeper and be like, if only I just want it more, if I work towards it more, if I obsess over it more. And this is a check-in point to last week's Capricorn Full Moon. Just a PS, I did do a dedicated all signs video on that. If you want to check it out, I'll link it above as well as below so you can figure out what story was aligning for your chart and for your life. And again, this lunar phase itself is around release, shedding. It's called a crisis of spirit lunar phase. And maybe this is just having to make peace, as much peace as we can, with the surrender or with the passage of time or with the transformation that is at play within our experience currently. And you could feel frustrated. This is not how it was meant to unfold. This is not how the cookie was meant to crumble. And it's so tempting when we want something so bad, when we've made our mind up about something around, I wanted it to be this. But that Capricorn full moon could just acknowledge around, no matter how much we want it to be this, it's just evolving in a different direction. And this could be a call to just let go, to try easy if that's available. There was an interview with Lana Del Rey, and she was talking about how she really wanted to get married. She was not wanting to do an album at all, but the album just flowed from her. It just so happened someone she was dating was just playing some guitar chords, and then she wanted to rehear it, and it felt like the album was writing itself, because that's what happens when things are meant for us. It just flows. There's no efforting, there's no forcing, there's no swimming upstream. And it could be so frustrating because we could be trying to chase something so desperately, but then something that we didn't even want just flows into our experience, and we're like, where is this flow within this object of my desire, what it is that I truly want? And it could be so frustrating when it's like, well, this was the year I was meant to get married, or this was meant to happen. But there's other blessings that await when we do choose to let go of how we thought it was going to be. But sometimes pride can get involved, ego can get involved around this is the way that it was meant to be. But there is an ask to surrender. And again, not all of us will feel this in terms of overall life arc. You could just feel this around you and your partner want different things for dinner. You could feel this around your kids are having temper tantrums. Like everybody could be wanting to execute their own will on a situation, feel like they know best, right? And so Saturday could be a little tense as a result. The moon enters Taurus at 10:32 a.m., which is typically pretty chill, But when it comes to the energy of Taurus, it's definitely stubborn. It's definitely insistent on its own way. If you do experience clashes, there could potentially be helpful conversations around it, as the Taurus moon will trine Mercury in Virgo around 12:36. But again, it's sandwiched between the Taurus moon squaring off with Pluto at 11:41, and then that last quarter moon landing at 7:52 p.m. And sometimes last quarter moons just feel a little uncomfortable. There just could be an acknowledgement around what is shifting, or what door is closed, or where you are evolving that feels uncomfortable. And one thing about Taurus moon is it likes to feel comfy. It's not comfy to not get our way. It's not comfy to have change, but we are delaying the blessings that could be awaiting should we surrender to a will that's more divine and more insightful than our own, right? There are things awaiting you that are so beautiful that you wouldn't even know to ask for them. Okay, and it's important to trust in that. As frustrating as it could be around, I wanted it to be this, I wanted it to be this timeline, or what have you. It could be aspects of your life that are just tapping you on the shoulder, just like nice flow blessings. But if you're so insistent around, my blessings can only come through in this channel, you are cutting yourself off from divine alignment and synchronicity. On Sunday, July 28th, don't we love a chill Sunday? I think we deserve it after the week that we just had. We have a nice chill Sunday. We have a Taurus moon all day long. It's sextile Saturn and Pisces. So we're doing things that feel good. We're making good food. We're in beautiful environments. We're going slow. If we're reading a book on the couch, we're taking that extra moment to light the candle, to pour a cup of tea, to make it a little bit more divine, a little bit more sensual. We're going for a long walk. We're not in a rush. We're taking our time. There's an ease to our Sunday morning that feels like it's aligning with the moon in Taurus all day long, sextiling Saturn that evening. Slow and steady does it. The Taurus moon does square off with Venus in Leo, so we definitely could be a little indulgent when it comes to sweets, when it comes to shopping. Listen, hide your credit card if you're into online shopping, or if you're at the mall, you could definitely expect to overspend with the Taurus moon making a harsh aspect with its ruler, Venus in Leo, which likes to show off, which likes things to be larger than life. But my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I am the architect of my own happiness. It can be all too easy to feel that happiness is something that just happens within our life. Happiness does not just happen. We make happiness happen. We make joy happen. We make fulfillment happen. We make purpose happen. Not by forcing our own will, but by choosing to intentionally proceed forward, living a purposeful life, looking for joy, choosing to have activities that are conducive for happiness, and choosing not to let the sweetness of our present moment to be siphoned by fears and expectations of the future, by energy drainers who want to feed on our light. There is this energy around, yes, cultivating your own happiness by doing things that are purposeful for you, by doing things that put you in alignment with joy, even if it's the last thing you want to do at the present moment, that by doing things that you find meaning in. That's how you curate that happiness. You safeguard that sunshine by observing what takes it from you, what leaks it from you, and making the actions necessary in order to remove yourself from the environments that take it away, and prioritizing more of the environments that add to it. As well as knowing that there are so many things in this life that are out of our control, but there are always things that are in our control. Like I shared within the Cosmic Café portion, I'm in the midst of something where I feel very stuck. And it was really helpful to have that reminder around, you have more agency than you know. Maybe not in this particular situation that you're obsessing over and wanting a certain outcome within, but there are other matters that are in your hands that can help you get in alignment with living in your most radiant, authentic design. So my loves, that is our week. If you made it to the end of Magic Monday, let me know by dropping the camera emoji or using the word camera within a sentence to give a shout out to our protagonist of this week's vibe check and the influencer dreams. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. A reminder that you can get your first 5-minute reading for just $1 over on Keen when you utilize my link, which is trykeen.com/Comet. But my loves, until we meet again, same time, same place, see you next Sunday morning here in the Cosmic Corner. Drink lots of water and stay cosmic.